Hey, I come.
Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa, I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. Got to get my man Izzy back in here. We've got AllStar Issy on the show. Izzy, get the mic back up. Got the mic up. Get the camera back up.
Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hit. There it is. It happens sometimes. I'm glad it wasn't me today.
No, thanks for having me.
Yes. So thank you guys for coming to This and That, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. We're live 7 nights a week, and we have made it our goal to not let the sun rise without going live. So sometimes we're better late than never, but we always come on the show every day of the week with something new and something educational for you guys. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we typically talk about business and finance related topics, how politics is impacting your ability to make, save, and invest money. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we typically talk about personal improvement, social improvement, relationship improvement. And then Sunday is our questions and comments from the fans. So remember, If you guys have something that you want to add to any debates that we have today or any other day of the week, you can also click those links that you see in the comment section on Twitter, X, Twitch, and YouTube. And any appropriate comments that we see in the comment section, you'll see them up on the show in the comment area. In addition to that, you guys can provide any comments in the comments section. But if you click the link to come onto the show, you'll be able to jump up here just like Izzy, and you'll be able to have that real-time communication with us, where I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's like a 3 to 5 second lag between when we say it and when they hear it. So when they comment, they're commenting about something we already said a while back. So that's going to make us spin back around for to reply to them. And then the other issue that you're going to have is that if you're asking them a direct question right now, you're going to have to wait until they come back to respond to you. So that'll delay your discussion. We've got Joseph Hernandez is one of my guys. Special shout out to Joseph. I really appreciate you for coming out, Joseph. I usually give him a little couple seconds of highlight time for coming on. Which all of the songs that come out are from alanito.music in Switzerland. It's being promoted by Danny in Denmark. So I really appreciate them for coming and giving us a whole soundtrack. You can find all of that information we are on the shorts reel, so they're going to be over here. So the description is going to be over on this side, and it's going to have all of the information related to all the songs that you hear on the show, and any information that you can use to get in touch with Izzy, myself, or any of the other products that we promote on the show.
Correct.
Izzy.
My guy, man. What's up? What's up, man?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I like to say that. Thank you.
So today we're supposed to be. You are welcome. You are welcome. I really appreciate that. So we're supposed to be sharing something special today. We're supposed to be having this conversation in real time, and we're going to be trying to get the energy in the room. So knowing that we got all this stuff together tonight, we're going to be diving into this topic that touches every single relationship in our lives, whether it's friendship, romance, or even those tricky professional connections. The topic is chemistry. So Izzy, start off. Let's start off with what exactly is chemistry. So I'm going to explain a little bit about this, and then Izzy, I want you to tell me what you think about this. A lot of people think that it's just a magical spark, right? Like you either have it or you don't. But actually, believe it or not, it's something that you can build brick by brick through the choices that you make and the energy that you bring to every interaction. So think of it like being the creator of your own universe, right? So Izzy's a special star about creating your own universe, and that's why we got him on the show today. So when you get to decide what kind of connection you want and what you will tolerate and how you will show up for others, this is where chemistry isn't just a fate thing. It is also an intentional thing. So I want to know from you, Izzy, what do you think about chemistry?
Well, just itself, usually when I think of chemistry, of course I can go to dating, but in general, chemistry is a reflection of how much you know yourself. And the reason why I say that is because when you're having a conversation with, say, with a lady or just with other people, it's always remember, and I say this often, is as within, so without, to shine within, to show without, meaning that you can only go as far as in a connection, whether that's platonic or romantic, whether you want to get to know somebody. You can only go as far as into a connection with someone as far as you know yourself. And when I think of chemistry, I think of compatibility. Because like you said, the magic spark, we're thinking like, oh, like in those romantic ass movies where they're like, oh, we're like this, and the spark, oh, he just looked at me in a bookstore. No, I mean, those moments can happen off of instant attraction, but that's not what's real. Because let's say you talk to that nice looking lady, you speak to her, you may think she look good, you may think you're trying to say the best pickup line, but you think, oh, we're gonna have chemistry. The chemistry may not be there, because truthfully, to have chemistry with another, you guys got to be on the same page. So one thing that I speak on often too is disruptive harmony and harmony. So disruptive harmony is mainly how most people are in relationships, which we can dive into that topic later. But harmony is both individuals being on the same page. This is what creates chemistry. We both are reciprocating what's going on right now. But I did emphasize why it's important to have an understanding and know who you are, because you can only go as far as who you are to go outside in the world, whether that's experiencing, learning, conversation, flirting, all that jazz. But that's my take on it.
Okay, special shout out to Tosh. I think that's one of yours.
Oh, of
Tosh with
course.
Talks with Tosh. So I want to let you know that your homies showed up. Um,
Much respect to her. I love Tosh. She's awesome.
Well, Tosh, if you got something to say about it, Tosh, you can dive in and you can let us know, because while this is a male-driven podcast from the male's perspective, we always love a female's point of view, because we just had Sarah on the show a couple days ago, and she was thinking like the brothers be thinking. So I'm like, she could come back.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
I'm down for controversy, but I mean, she could come back because I love having an intelligent conversation.
Yes.
So she said she loves you too, man. So that's fantastic. So what I think about with chemistry is when I think of chemistry, I think about blowing something up in the lab. Fact is, I'm a science major. So as soon as I think about chemistry,
awesome.
yeah, microbiology, communication and health, and computer technology. So
if I wasn't doing this, I would have been a scientist for sure.
I would have been a pediatric surgeon. So I always find the hardest thing, and I aim for it, and I get as close to it as possible. And then those who can't do teach. So now I'm teaching about it. But I brought all of my knowledge from college to this podcast, and then my ability to do extensive research to this podcast. And I'm like, look, I'm not just gonna come here and give you a problem with no solution, because there are a lot of podcasts that do that. I'm gonna bring you a solution to the problem. Yes. And that aids you in being able to improve your scenario, improve your connectivity, not just with me, but with your ability to invest your time in coming here and talking to me and listening to me. So when I think about chemistry, it's a random explosion. You are going to have that love at first sight scenario about 150 times in your life. That is not a lust-based scenario. That is statistically true. So out of our short life, that is less than 150 years of length on average, typically around 75 to 85 years old, you're probably going to have the same type of first contact attraction to more than one person in the same year, which means you could be in a relationship with somebody and have the exact same spark with somebody else that you're not in a relationship with. Now, this requires self-control, which is one of the reasons why a lot of women are very protective of the boyfriends by putting them through that boyfriend boot camp. And I'm going to ask you about that in a second, because I got a lot of reservations about that one. But the thing about chemistry is that you are not going to have the right pickup line. Just like even with the script that I got right here, I can still stumble over my words. Just like you have that go-to line or the backup line that you would throw out when you walk up to the girl that really has captivated you. You are not going to be able to get the words out correctly. You're not going to remember the punchline. You're not going to know exactly how to say what you want to say, even if you know what to say. She's not going to feel as comfortable to speak out. She's not going to have the capabilities to communicate effectively as well. There's going to be a lot more embarrassment between both people because they don't want to mess this up, the same way we have that panic attack during an exam. And it is an explosion of emotion between two individuals. Now, the toxicity from negative dating has led people to believe that you cannot have love at first sight. But that is actually the worst thing that you can believe. Somebody could truly be in love with you from before they told you who they were, because men see women like Job under the tree. Women are sitting there doing their thing, minding their own business, being stalked by men. That's how it is, believe it or not. We don't want to perceive it that way, but that's the way it is. Because when I saw you, it took me 20 minutes to figure out how I was going to build the courage to come over there and come and say something, which ultimately means I was stalking you for 20 minutes before I walked over there to come and say something. Now, the women are going to treat us like creepers because we standing there staring. But ladies, if y'all got a man standing over there staring at you, he can't leave because he wants to say something, but he don't have the courage to come and say something. That is when you are supposed to be able to go over there, go talk to him and be like, I see you eyeballing me, sir. What's good? You know, how are you doing? What's your name? Really, really break that ice, because if he is remotely in line with your interest, it takes the pressure off. But chemistry is going to be an effort thing between two individuals.
Yes.
And since it is the man's responsibility to make first contact, a woman will know that she's being watched by a man, and some will be pissed off about it because it wasn't the man they were hoping for. But I've said it on show plenty of times, you're always what's right for you. So just because that's not the person willing to date, person might not become the person you would prefer to date. So you're supposed to give that person the benefit of the doubt and try to find out if his chemistry, if his character, if his personality fits in line with your expectations before you judge the person, because you never know what you're getting until after you've read the book. But not too many people think about that. Real quick, Tosh said, I agree with being in a spark in a relationship and having a spark with someone else. Joseph said, you also give great info about finance. he be coming to the show on a regular basis. Finance, investment, and businesses, which I appreciate. But let's keep talking about chemistry.
I love it. That's great. That's great support.
She said, "Oop, not stalking." No, it really is stalking though, Tosh. Because if you're at a club and the guy at the bar, he buys a drink and sends it over to your table. First of all, he saw you. That's when he started looking at. That's where the stalking begins. He saw you. Then he thought about, how do I make first contact with this girl? The whole time he's making sure you ain't left yet. That's still stalking you. Then he's going to tell the bartender, send a drink over to that table. He's got to think about what kind of drink is appropriate to send to you over to the table. This whole time, which could be a combination of 15 to 20 minutes, before you realize that guy that's been staring at you for the last 20 minutes has tried to make first contact by sending you over a drink. Then after you get the drink, if you receive and accept the drink from the bartender and start drinking the drink, that's his cue to walk across the room and come and make first contact. That whole player move from 1990 is him stalking the prey and then pouncing on the prey. Now, if you receive that positively, oh, he knows what kind of drink I like without even knowing who I am. When all females drink the same drink, he came over, started making first contact, and because you're drinking his drink, you subconsciously feel obligated to communicate with him because that drink wasn't free. Now,
and look, and they're gonna hit this move right here. They're gonna be like this across the room. Across the room, you know what I'm saying? Hit the.
Soon as I'm the one that sent you the drink, man. And you're gonna get that up there. Like, that's what's up. And that's why I said before, when you're not interested in a man, instead of blasting him, send him a complimentary drink in return and let him know that you're not interested. Don't send his drink back because it's rude not to accept a gift. But if you was going to pay for a refill anyway, sweetheart, instead of you taking his $15 drink and saying thank you and just ignoring him, you could just send him a $15 drink back because you would have bought that drink yourself anyway and tell him, I appreciate it, but I'm not interested. And then he's not at a financial loss in this situation because he attempted to make contact and you reciprocated with a polite and appropriate rejection, which allows him to recoup and try again. But you didn't make a scene and embarrassed him, and you also didn't make a scene and embarrass yourself, because if you was looking for a man, if you act an ass on the first guy that tried to approach you, all the other men in the room ain't even gonna try that.
Yeah, because that's already asserting like a dominance in a sense, kind of like spreading the expression of don't fuck with me, basically. I'm not in it for somebody. Somebody may see it as a challenge though. They're definitely probably will be like, she ain't fuck with him, but she may fuck with me. Somebody may see it as a challenge. You never know around these parks.
Well, I'm gonna be real with you. If you're looking at like, okay, so I saw the video on your podcast on the front page of your podcast, and I love it, and I wanted to argue with you about it. But it's not because it's because of the guy that was on the video. And I want to touch base on. I said I was going to ask you a question about one thing before. I'll if I remember it, we'll get back to it.
This is conversation, everybody. By the way, this is what this is the art of conversation. This is how you converse and speak. But after you though.
But you had the gentleman on your video, and he had the Charlie Sheen outfit on, and his girl was in the red dress, looked like she was going to prom. He had the bowling shirt that was the exact same color as a t-shirt, exact same color as his khaki shorts, exact same color as his shoes.
The pen one, the pen video I got on my profile.
Like, bro, where are you? He looked exactly like he was going to the local pub and drink beer with the homies, and he got this girl in this prom dress, this ball gown, this. Like, no, it wasn't appropriate. He picked a dress for her, so she wore what he wanted her to wear, and that I approved of from the perspective of when you was pitching it. But when you said that her outfit and how she carries herself does not reflect a relationship, I completely disagree with that. The fact is that she is supposed to dress the part, and he's supposed to reciprocate that. So the fact that he picked that ballroom gown, that boy should have been walking out there looking like 007. He should have had a suit to match her outfit. If he couldn't find a red wine suit, he should have at least had a black and white suit. He's not supposed to put her in a prom dress where she looks like an escort standing next to Charlie Sheen. He's not supposed to do that. But that was a failure on his part as the man.
Now, with that being, I'm sorry, go ahead. My apologies.
No, go ahead.
No. With that being said, then if we look at the perspective of that, then I completely agree with that. Because I am about presentation. The only reason I said, and I forgot what I worded it exactly, but when I looked at it and being like, it's not a reflection, meaning like, if she's dressing sexy, this doesn't necessarily mean this is a reflection as far as like her trying to rebel against him as far as what he wants. Now, I like to look good. I'm presenting myself as well. I talk about that pretty often, but the funny part is I didn't even really peep his outfit the way you did. Like, I didn't actually look at it and be like, God damn, like, he's not as presentable. I mean, I looked at it. It seemed like it was more of her time to shine versus than it was for him. Not saying that I agree with that necessarily, because
it's
I mean,
she's supposed to shine on a regular basis, but she can shine in a more modest fashion if she's going to complement his attire. She could have wore a sundress. She could have wore a flower dress. She could have wore something that was a little bit less bling on her, because they're supposed to be a spotlight together, not the spotlight on her and him in the shadows, because what that will still cause conflict. Because while he's at the bar getting her another drink, she's on a dance floor, another guy is going to come and approach her like that guy's just her chauffeur, and they will treat you like you're expendable. The boyfriend is like a 24/7 hardcore title. You got to forever fight to maintain that position. But you're not just fighting the crowd, you also fighting your girl, because you got some women that are sassy and rebellious and they want to buck against. You can't tell me what to do, you're not my daddy kind of thing. But you pick me to be a protector. So I'm supposed to be the one that gets shot at. I'm supposed to be the one that gets in the fights. I got to go to jail for doing stuff to protect you. And like the man at the presidential election that got shot in the back, killed because he protected his wife from that gunfire. If she would not have listened to him when he said get down, she would have caught one in the face. So the fact is that listening to your man is important. But you're also supposed to, as a man, be able to address a situation and say, okay, while I love that dress, you look beautiful in that dress, what we're about to go do today is not conducive of that dress. And be able to say, okay, we're going to put you in a situation that requires that dress, and then I'm going to put on a suit that matches that. So like Tosh just said, she said he better look like a prince.
I mean, you gotta look right. I'm all about presentation. I enjoy that, but the thing is that
you didn't see it, and the reason why you didn't see it is because you're more dressed casual more often than not. If you look at my podcast, I'm in a different suit every day of the week. So when I look at his outfit as a higher valued man, I expected him to come more professional. I expected him to come more appropriate, since he put her in that. This wasn't a situation where he just accepted it because that's what she wanted to do. She did what he wanted her to do. That's what made it so bad, because she put that dress on for him. Now, what he should have done is be presentable for her, because he reflects her. So if her homegirls is looking at her like, oh my God, you look so beautiful, look over at him and you look so plain.
No cohesiveness.
That makes her look bad. You see what I'm saying?
No, I completely understand. And I like that you pointed that out, because that really shows different perspectives and stuff of how like certain things can go and how much a reflection a special relationship is. Because I know in the video, my main point was the security of it.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of men that are very insecure about how their woman dresses. They're like, why do you want to dress like this? Why do you want to do this? Or, a lot of women, they can look sexy, but they don't feel sexy. And the thing is, what I wanted to aim at, where I find a lot of struggles for men, clients that I assist with or coach, they often struggle with their insecurities and they project that onto a woman. So what I wanted to point out for that video specifically was carry yourself with confidence. Now, reflecting on how his fit was, I can even look back at the video. I'm like, yeah, that's not necessarily something you want to go out if she's looking as fly as she is. It's the thing of cohesiveness. I'm all about cohesiveness when it comes to, if I'm out publicly, everything is gonna make sense down to me and my.
But that's why the chemistry. That's why I brought it up, because when it comes down to the chemistry, it did not make sense for him to put her in that, because now it looks like he's renting her for the night. even though that otherwise would have been a ballroom gown to take her dancing with, salsa night, something like that. It's he didn't match the part. So she didn't look like she was his girlfriend. She looked like she was his escort. And that is an inappropriate way to dress your woman. You know, the dress itself wasn't the problem. Huh?
Now, saying that was an interesting perspective because I don't think like I could see why you say the escort part, but when I see it, I just see like on another perspective of she looks they look like a relationship as far as she's the one who is looking good and benefiting in the relationship more than he is. Like she, you know, because
like
there's
he's
multiple
paying for her.
Nah, but like
that was my take on it.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm thinking is like there's a lot of women that get in relationships with men that want to be the superior. You see what I'm saying? That want to look better than a boyfriend or some shit like that.
And
that's what I can see from that. But I never thought
that's fine. But see, he picked that outfit. So the problem is that she's doing what she's told. And since she's doing what she's told, that puts her in a submissive position where the traditional women would be. But
nothing wrong with that.
This expensive behind dress that he bought for her to wear tonight to go out while he's wearing dress casual clothes, like he's wearing like we going to the beach looking like this, and she's going somewhere important. And I don't think that he took her somewhere that validated that dress. And my objection to it is that makes her look bad. For example, I'm in a 3-piece suit. If I had a girl with a halter top on and some short shorts on, that's not going to look good. Right? So if she had the shower cap on with the halter top on and the really short shorts and some flip-flops, and she went somewhere with me and I'm in a 3-piece suit, that's not going to look good. We don't match together. You know, but if I'm in a suit, and then she doesn't have to be in a suit. She could have a pants outfit. She could have a regular like blouse and a short skirt, or a blouse and a medium length skirt, or a floor length dress. You know, but it would be a casual scenario where it complements my style, because I'm not that old fashioned where I'm going to say, well, women aren't allowed to wear pants, but women actually look more attractive when they don't wear pants. It's just, you know,
I love women in dresses, so I understand. Like I love
a woman in a dress.
Dresses. Yeah,
I asked them that if you want to ride in the front seat, you should put on a dress. But if you want to ride in the back, you can wear some pants. I don't care.
Hey,
I let them choose what they're going to do.
Yeah, and so again, I enjoy the perspective of the cohesiveness in all, and also, you know, just in general, like we don't even know what the fuck their even relationship is. Maybe he just like, bitch, you gotta look sexy tonight. I want to see you look good. Fuck what I got going on. Let me see you do your thing. Like, I mean, we never know, but
he spent his last dollar on her dress and couldn't afford himself a suit and didn't own a suit before they went out. So I can understand that he was balling on a budget, but that also goes to the fact that in a relationship that you're supposed to be mindful of your finances. So if you can't afford to buy a matching outfit, you shouldn't get that for her. You might want it, but if you can't reciprocate, you buy that dress for her, she needs to be able to buy the tux for you. Y'all need to remember that this is an egalitarian society right now in the United States, but it is not the woman's requirement to buy stuff for her man. It is the man's requirement to buy for her woman. And it is the woman's requirement to be responsible about what he's about to buy for her. If that looked like that's too much money for him to be paying for, you should be able to tell him, no, don't get it. I know it looked cute. Let's take a picture. We come back and get it another day. But let's not do that. Let's get matching outfits, or not necessarily matching outfits, but matching outfits like they play off of one another kind of thing. And then he could, instead of spending $500 on that one dress for her, he could have spent $200, where it's $100 per person, still has some extra money left over. We both could have looked like we belong together. And then at the same time, we could have took the change and went and did something fun. But instead, he put everything on the outfit, the dress, the shoes. She put all her money on the makeup, did her hair. So everybody's money went on her. And now he looked like shit. She looked amazing. And that misconception is what a lot of people do. Now the problem is going to be down the line, that's going to become a habit. That habitual behavior is going to lead to the lack of reciprocation, because she's going to be used to putting in extra effort to validate his gift, by getting her hair done, doing her makeup, finding a new dress to go with the jewelry he just bought, or finding the jewelry to go with the dress that he just bought, or finding an outfit to go with the shoes that he just bought, so that he can be satisfied to see that she's wearing what he bought her. Now, she ain't gonna be able to do nothing for him because he's spending above his means to impress her, and she's spending above her means to reciprocate the effort that he put into her. But then at some point, he's gonna be like, damn, she'll never do nothing for me. The best I get is a tie. This starts building resentment, right?
No, I see what you're saying. And firstly, just want to say, what an incredible breakdown. You know, I mean, just you breaking it down, because that's like a what. See, this is what's great about conversation, ladies and gentlemen, especially when you want to learn how to master it, whether someone disagrees, wants to point out something for whatever your perspective. Again, the way you just broke that down was incredible, because that's a way to look at certain things, especially what's highlighted is the cohesiveness in this. Is
Yes.
the reflection, and I believe in that. And what I liked it a lot, and I like that you brought that up, and I'm glad that you disagree for what I was saying too, because the thing is, my main focus was always on the security. There's always because there's just so many goddamn false people out here that just do things just to do things, and when you really break it down like that, it's making sense, and I fuck with that.
Real quick, Tosh said, I remember telling my old dude that he needs to change his outfit because of where we were going. I'm wearing a dress and you got sweats.
That's real. And that's real. I think men need to, there's an importance of presenting yourself well, like make yourself look good, smell good, feel good, all that jazz. Like, even if you're going out on the first date, still keep yourself presentable. You don't got to wear no goddamn suit unless the place that you invited her to go to is suitable for that type of attire. Then that's completely different. But also always keep being presentable. And I want to say shout out to everybody. I see y'all in the chat. Shout out to the stars.
I'm throwing them out there. I was just about to jump up there. Damari King, she said hi. Special shout out to you as well.
Great to see you, Damari.
So I couldn't pronounce the other one, but the other one said hey too.
That's Marie. That's Marie. That's
Marie.
That's the home. Yeah.
So I give all your fans they love when they come jumping through here. Tosh said when you do your own hair and your natural beauty, that's gonna be a lot more affordable for you, because when you start putting on that all official stuff, it's gonna cost you a lot more money to put on ideally a facade. And women are used to changing their appearance to be impressive.
Yes,
everything down to changing their height. And the interesting part about it is that they don't understand that since men want natural, if you come out of them 3.5-inch platform shoes with the 6-inch heel on the back of it, you drop 5 inches. So if I was supposed to be attracted to you because of your height, you got to bring me your natural height. Put on some regular sneakers and wear your natural height. Change every now and again, but it should be your priority to bring your original self more often than not. Like, just for this show today. Now, I've worn this suit quite a few times throughout the series, throughout the last 2 years of this podcast, but I put this suit on to match your background because that's the camaraderie that I do. When I was with Sarah, I did not have this shiny behind suit on. I was a little bit more matching of what I expected Sarah to bring to the table.
Correct.
There's a suit for every occasion. There's a beach suit, there's a birthday suit, there's a suit for every occasion. But you can dress casual. You don't have to have blazers and vests and all this other stuff on every time you decide to walk out of the house. I do. I find a way to make sure that my outfit matches whatever I got going on. But I'm always bringing my best self. I'm always bringing my best self when I go places, because I have to break that stereotype.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be. It always should be that. Because forever is right now. You should always be that. And anything is a best version or best self is only that reflection of what you seek is only who you already are. You just gotta take them steps to get to where you need to.
She said she likes to find chocolate shit. I don't know where she going with that. I don't know if it was your outfit or my outfit.
Excuse me. I think she may like this some fine chocolate shit like you playing. I think she may be gassing herself up. Like, she was probably talking about her. I don't know. Yeah. Regardless, hey.
I get some that are left field a lot of the time, so I take that in stride. So I don't mind it. But Oh, okay. So she catching up because so there was something like I told you that 5 to 7 second delay. So she was talking about before when we were talking about the fake hair and stuff. She's now talking about the wigs and braids and stuff. She said, "I got my Jackson 5 fro too."
And that's
All
good.
right.
And one thing I do want to say to and I like that you noted the it's women should make it a priority for them to bring themselves originally,
Mhm.
um, which I do agree with. But the reason why I wouldn't give a fuck in the beginning is because I understand you already come with your own
Baggage.
judgments and all that shit. Yeah. So like I like that you pointed that out because not a lot of people really talk about that point. Because when I women come makeup, all that, then they take it off and they could be completely different bag. You know what I'm saying? Or the outfits that they wear. Because what I see and what I like to always
Completely
present is
different.
stop trying to fuck the idea of her and fuck her for who she is. Meaning, a lot of men pedestalize beauty. We know this.
Mhm.
By pedestalizing what you see is going to train most men in their mind to let me be like this. She looks so good. Let me try to trick on her. Let me try to do these things. The whole thing
Now,
is
some
she's
women are
not her beauty.
accidentally bringing that on to themselves by presenting themselves in that fashion. Those skin tight gorilla
Mhm.
fits that's accenting all of your private areas. You're not supposed to be. You're
Yeah.
supposed to have a level of modesty. There's supposed to be a level of mystery. You're not supposed to have an unnecessary print in any location where they can actually tell what they're looking for and what it looks like from afar. There's supposed to be a level of modesty, and women have forgotten that. And the idea is that these days there are some women that, like you said, they are beautiful, but they don't know it. So they put extra effort into making themselves look like what they think is beautiful, which is what is advertised on social media. And then they turn back around and they get negative attention from it. They're
Mhm.
overly sexualizing themselves. And then they're going to have those guys that have those dirty thoughts in their minds. Like you said, they're like, oh man, let me see if I can turn a trick on her. And that's because she looks like a trick right now. But if she would have looked like a librarian, if she would have looked like Velma from Scooby Doo and the gang, ain't nobody going to be thinking that. They're going to think, oh,
It's
well,
true. I can see that.
she's cute, but I'm not gonna try to turn a trick on her. I might go over there and talk to her and see what she's about. And that's why I try to tell women, it's like you have to dress the part yourself. So while you have your own style when you're single, you also got to dial that back a little bit when you become in a relationship because you're no longer advertising. And that was the other part that I had objected to
I
with
like
the fact that you said, yeah, you're supposed to parade your girl around
that.
to a degree. She's supposed to be paraded around to the magnitude that she is beautiful and you are proud of her, but she is still taken. So you're not supposed to put her in a dress that got her ass hanging out in the back because nobody's supposed to be looking
I
at
mean,
that but you.
shit is not gonna be it's not gonna be showing cheeks, but I don't
They
mind
got
my
some
woman
dudes that be showing
to
cheeks
look
like
sexy,
Jay-Z did with Beyonce. They got cheeks in the back. They got
and
Nicki
that's on
Minaj and
them.
her baby
You know what
daddy.
I'm
Like, I'm
saying?
like, that's reckless.
And that's on them. They do whatever they do. You know what I mean? That's one year after the other for that. But when it comes to but for me, I do like my women to dress sexy. I like it. I like when they can show their figure. I like when they wear nice tight dresses. I like that. Of course, it can be some modesty in it, but I'm not saying show all them titties and show the ass hanging out, but I don't necessarily give a
But
fuck.
that's what they think that guys want. You do realize that 95% of a girl's outfit is based on what they think a man will find attractive. They call themselves looking cute, but that's because they're
And
overly sexually desired.
is that based off logistics or experience?
Oh, that's based off of extreme, extensive research. Statistically,
We got ladies
uh,
in the chat.
and lady, we got at least two. And
Let's
ladies, please chime in.
let's ask. Yes, let's ask that because what I've also learned, not even just I mean logistics, that makes sense obviously because it's a fact and it's there that you see, but off basic experience, I know that a lot of women like to dress sexy, likes to present themselves that way just so they can feel that way, not necessarily for the man's eye.
Nah,
Of course that can have a part to play in it, but I know that a lot of women could look good, but that don't mean that they feel good. They just what they like to do
no,
is match how they feel and
the
look
lower
together.
their self-esteem is in themselves, the harder they try to look good, which means the more effort they put into their appearance, which means that they're going to come a lot more
Yeah, no,
sexually
I agree with
attractive.
that.
But statistically, here we go. This is primal instinct, which
Mhm.
also means that not a lot of women are doing this on purpose. That's why I said they accidentally, or some of them are accidentally attracting the wrong appearance,
Yeah, definitely
the
some of
wrong
them.
attention. Some of them are deliberately looking for negative attention because it's easier to get negative attention than it is to get positive attention. And that's why I said
Right.
on the show that as men, we have to stand on our non-negotiable expectations for behavior And when we do that, we have to first not promote the negative attire on the women, because while they might look attractive, we might think about smashing and stuff like that, but we're not supposed to tell that girl, oh, you look sexy, you look hot, you look fine, because they put on that overly attractive outfit to get me to come look at them. And then when I come and comment on it, that checked the box that they wanted to check, and they're done with me because they only wanted validation. They did not want to engage them. And that's why if I try to pursue an engagement after the validation, she's going to come off as harsh and disrespectful, because she didn't want anything other than the comment in passing. That's why she put that outfit on. So
not in all cases, though. I got to disagree on that. Not in
well,
all
no,
cases.
it's not in all cases. But when you get that negative feedback from that girl that's walking down the street, she just almost like a model with her outfit on, right? Sexy as hell, right? You thinking all kinds of stuff, including I'm a smash. I want to take her out and see what she's like. I want to get to know her better.
The regular guy, not me though. I just want to point that out there, because we're on a completely
well, when I say you, I say like men. When men are approaching the women, and when they approach the women, they walk over there, they go and talk to the girl, and she's like, I'm not interested, I got a boyfriend, I don't want to talk to you, blah blah blah. Negative attitude, something like what you see from the
I know what you mean.
videos.
I know what you, I go out a lot, so I see that
type of rejection is because she put that outfit on just to get validation from people in passing, not to spark up a conversation, not to be taken out on a date, not to find a boyfriend. She wouldn't mind if she found a man that she was interested in, that was her type, where she might decide to follow through with that. But the average person that she wasn't interested in to begin with, she just wanted to turn heads. She just wanted to get that cat call in passing so that she knows she looked good, because she don't feel like she looked good. So she depends on social recognition, and she will put extra effort in that. But here's the thing, statistically, long hair is a genetic trait for fertility. Long eyelashes, the cheeks, the rosy red cheeks. So the makeup stems from putting a false sense of cheek, because that's ovulation. When women are in their prime, they're going to have a flush skin. They're going to have the glow to them when they're pregnant. These characteristics and traits are shown, and that attracts a man over there. Well, she's fertile. That's going to make a guy go over there and want to reproduce with her. That's where the desire for sex comes from, is the reproduction. Large breasts, large butt, wide hips, the gap between the thighs. These are things that emphasizes fertility. The height, not so much so, but the girls get the height because they want the 6'5" guy at 4'11", and in order to be attractive to that 6'5" guy, she's got to be 5'9" or 5'10". So she's got to get a nice little lift, like a Bigfoot truck, so that she can be tall enough for him to say, okay, I could talk to you. Because if you're too short, at the end of the day, the guy is going to look at you like you're a child, because he's so tall and he's not going to be interested in you. Now, the problem is that the 5'6" man has more money on average than the 6'5" guy. So the girl is going to be trying to look for a man with a lot of money, and that's going to be the short guy. And she's going to be wanting the guy that's really tall, and he's going to be the broke guy. And she's going to be in between the two heights, saying, I'm not interested in the 5'6" guy because she's 5'10" with heels. But if you take them heels off, sweetheart, you 4'11", 5'2", which means that the 5'6" guy is taller than you too. So you could get what you're looking for if you just became more natural. Now, the fingernails it's a crow thing. Women like shiny, so do men, but women like shiny. So they bedazzle their fingers so that they can look at their hands. But it's impractical, because they can't use a cell phone, they can't touch nothing, they can't do nothing without breaking a nail, and it's like $200 for fingernails for 2 weeks. That's the only thing that is not related to fertility. They do the waist trainer to do the hourglass figure, because small waist, wide hips, fertility. These are projections that if you were to procreate with this girl, you're more likely to produce children. So that draws desire to the man, where he's going to go over there and try to engage that. It's almost like monkeys in a zoo, where
like you stated, primal. I understand.
Right. So the women that are trying to attract attention, they're trying to attract that primal instinct from a man. They put on the perfume, they put on the outfits, they put on the fake stuff that they don't have in themselves. They call themselves a 10, with a complete lie, but then they go out into society to get that attention. Now, that's why I said yes, as a single woman, you do what you want to do to get the attention that you're looking for. Be appropriate about it, because you can draw negative attention, because there are some demons out here that are men. But at the end of the day, though, once you get that man, you got to dial that back some, because you're no longer up for sale. You're no longer up for auction. So you're not trying to hold on to this guy like a timeshare until you find a better guy. Once you stick with this guy represents what you're looking for in life. You are supposed to change your outfit to become more modest, so that you only represent your relationship. Almost like, Michelle Obama. She is never out there looking like, Nicki Minaj. You'll never see her in an outfit like that. You barely can see her kneecaps when she wears shorts. And the fact is that the modesty, you can still look attractive without emphasizing your femininity. And that's something that I tell a lot of the guys. It's like, we can only change that, because if we were fathers, we wouldn't want our daughters to dress that way. So in that mentality, as men, we should not be encouraging women to dress that way, because we're not going to want our girlfriend that's going to become our wife to dress that way. So now we've got our mother. We wouldn't allow our mother to do it. We wouldn't allow our girlfriend or our wife to do it. And we wouldn't allow our daughter to do it. So why are we encouraging single women to do it? Because that's somebody's mother, daughter, sister. So I'm saying,
I completely understand where you're coming from.
Go ahead.
What I would like to say too with that is I still, the way that she is, the way I was trying to her, the dress and femininity, all that. I need her to still keep up with that when a woman is with me. She needs to still keep her appearance up and look up when she's still with me. Of course, we can have modesty in there, here and there. You ain't got to be all slutty looking and shit.
Well, I'm not
But
saying that you're supposed to have your hair all over your head and don't shave your mustache and start being musty. I'm not saying that part.
No, of course. I wasn't saying that you were saying that. What I'm doing,
I'm
though,
saying
is
that if you don't need them eyelashes, you can take them bad boys off. That's what I'm saying. You can do without the $2,000 Brazilian weave for a few weeks.
But what I'm expressing at this moment is that it's not. I still want her to keep being presentable the way I was attracted to her from that 1st. You need to still keep up with your appearance.
Well,
the originality is nice, but still.
That's actually a requirement, though. You do realize that, right? Because as a man, we fell in love with the first appearance, which was not the natural her. So in order for her to keep our attraction, she's going to have to keep up that appearance. That's called upkeep.
Of course. Absolutely. Now, I just want to present that forward, because I like women dressing sexy. She's still going to be sexy, or even sexier while being with me and everything.
But there's a difference between being sexier with you in the environment of impressing you versus her being sexy with the idea of impressing other men without you.
Right. Of course, there is.
And that's the part that I have the objection with.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, I believe that still in some relationships that will still kind of be there, depending on how your relationship is with your woman. Because there's a bunch of relationships where there's women dressed like, even that video that you're referring to.
I was going to go there.
We don't necessarily know the dynamics in that, but depending on how your relationship is with your woman, some of them will dress even better or sexier in a relationship to feel some type of desire, because you may not be either
giving them what they're looking for. They're missing something from the relationship, and they're seeking it outside of the relationship. I talk about these kind of things on the show a lot, but notice how what the woman said was she's only wearing that dress because he asked her to, and if she was going on a girls' night out, she would wear something less out there, less flashy, which means that she would represent her relationship. So she's dressing up for him. But if she would have gone out with just the girls, it might have been a regular black skirt with a white top kind of thing. It wouldn't have been overly flashy where all the people would be looking at her. And that is the difference between wearing sweats with you and then wearing a ball gown because you're not going. See the difference?
You heard what the gentleman asked, right? When he was like, would you wear this on a girls' night out? And she was like, maybe. I don't know. That sparked a lot right there too.
She said, maybe, I don't know. I probably wouldn't. I probably wear less,
Yes, but so that right there also showed that she's undecided. Like she
didn't really pick that dress though. He picked it, so she's wearing it. So that might not be her style, but she's doing it because he asked her to. Now,
Right.
those women that want to dress like that, where you can't tell the difference between whether or not she's your girlfriend or whether or not she's an OnlyFans girl, that type of mentality, you're not going to change that woman and force her to be more modest when she's in a relationship with you. You are going to have to deal with the choices that she makes in her appearance because she's not willing to do less. But that level of chemistry between y'all is you can still somewhat match her attire and still be able to maintain a little bit of cohesiveness between y'all, even though she's putting on whatever she wants to put on. But she can also recognize that she's in the type of relationship where respectfully she can kind of dial it down a little bit because she's taken now.
I'm pretty sure that may have been a dynamic just based on like how she was, and just again, we don't know too much about it, like about their dynamic, but off of him even dressing the way he was, because when we look back at it, you can tell they're probably a little bit more casual than usual.
Oh, of course.
You know, yeah, you can see that.
Joseph said girls' night out is a red flag. Speaking of red flags, I want to spin this real quick because I really want your input on this, because you look real young, brother, real young. I want to say somewhere between 25 and 31.
I'm 26.
I was almost there.
You were right there. I mean, you're right there. I was gonna add a little bit more mystery. I was like, fuck it, let's be direct. Yeah, I'm 26.
Well, you know, I'm good at it, but at the same time, I try to give a little bit of play because you got a lot of wisdom. So
thank you.
You could
I like you said 25, 31. Some people always be like, oh, aren't you like 19, 20? I'll be like, whoa, where does this come from?
Well, first of all, you got too much facial hair to be 19. It has been.
I mean, I am Mexican though. I am Mexican, so you know, there's a lot of
that doesn't matter. You learn how to groom it better over the years, so you would not have had the perfectly designed goatee at 19 because you don't know how to style it yet. So just because you could have grown it at 19, you didn't know what to do with it, so it would have looked weird on you and you would have been trying to figure it out. So you can tell the difference between a man that just started dealing with facial hair versus a man that's been dealing with facial hair for 10 years. So I knew that you've been dealing with facial hair for a while, so that let me know that you're a middle-aged young man. So now it's young man, 25, at least be older than 31, because you have enough wisdom there to be 31, 32, but you look too young to be like 35.
Right. Yeah.
I'm 41. So we've got a generation gap here. That's going to be the difference between us, because my mentality is going to be that old. I'm the last of a dying breed. So the old traditional ways, I was raised by those that came up in the 50s and 60s. And you were raised by those that came up in my generation. So the mentality is different. So when you are my age talking to somebody your age, you're going to be thinking like me, and you're going to be like, man, I remember this cat a couple decades ago that was telling me all of these things. And now I see why he's saying that, because now that I'm in his position, now I'm like, oh yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I do want to point this out. There is a lot that I agree with you with. There were some like disruptions that we had, or like just small disagreements, but regardless, I completely understand, and I just believe we just have two different ways of operating.
Joseph's a 35-year-old Mexican as well. Oh no, I love the disagreements, because we're not supposed to be yes men, because we wouldn't have a conversation if we agreed on everything. So we can have a bit of a debate. I don't mind. I can have a slam down argument with somebody in a professional fashion, because you got to understand, when Donald Trump was running for election, I talked about them gold ass Confederate flag ass shoes that really represented the most racist side of America, and I had a bunch of people try to talk to me about that, and we had a nice little political debate. We had a historical debate. I had to remind them that the culture from the South is not the same as the culture from the North. So if you was raised in the North, you say you don't remember racism from your generation. I was raised in the South. I remember everything that happened on NWA, the NWA movie, everything that happened. We went through that. You know, so they put that in the movie because that's based on, you know, that real quick. Back in the day, movies were facts with a fictional story, which means that the circumstances that happened really was happening in the world. It was just a fictional story. When it was
like they try to create a story along with the facts.
That they created a fictional scenario and they put real facts in it because that makes it more believable. Almost like NYPD Blue, you know, Special Victims Unit, all that other stuff, Blue Bloods. Like, these are things that really do happen in the world.
Right.
And the thing is that it is based on a fictional story. So when they was being slammed just because they was outside, when they staring down barrels of guns just because they went outside, when they're being mistreated just because of the way they look, just because of the fact that they open their mouth, that's how we were treated in the South. So when we started talking about, when we started arguing back and forth those types of dynamics, I was able to say, hey, bro, like, you believe whatever you want to believe. But when I rolled out the statistics and the fact, because I only bring facts, I bring generational facts. And when I brought it down, I'm like, bro, it's all race aside, the flag itself was built to represent a civilian army that started out to go up against the Union Army. And then after the war, like, factions used to take it and use it for a negative thing. So everything after 1950, the flag was used for nothing positive. So everybody who grew up in that environment is going to look at that symbol as something negative. Doesn't mean that that what it was made for is what it's being used for now. And once he thought about it, he was like, oh yeah, you're right. You're right. And I showed, I went all the way back to 1861 and I gave him the history of America in order to show him, look, it was originally supposed to be something positive, but it turned into something negative. Almost like Nas was supposed to be a way to have fuel efficient vehicles, because you would use less fuel to have more performance. And the kids took that and threw it into their cars, and now they Tokyo drift all over the place and blowing up engines because they don't have the chemistry right. Things that are made for a good cause end up being used for bad intentions, and that's when you end up with the negativity. But spinning that back to this, oh yeah, I love having debates, you know, because I only based on facts, and because I based on facts, I don't have personal emotions related to the conversation where we're going to be yelling and cursing each other out, because the only thing I'm thinking about is how much coffee I got left.
right, exactly.
So on the debate, because I think that you're going to be on the same page as I'm on, but if you're not, that's fine. I told you about this boyfriend boot camp thing.
Yeah, I don't even like what I hear already.
You got the females that is testing the males about, like, how would you act if I was another woman, and how you're supposed to behave in public. Jesus and Christ. You got some of these women that be yoking a man up by the collar and threatening his safety, and you know, you got
TikTok videos threatening.
We got some of the women that be hitting the men and all this stuff, and women say that men are more abusive than men. I mean, they say that men are more abusive than women, and that's not true. So, factually, women are more abusive than men because they're allowed to be, because if a man was as abusive to a woman as a woman is to a man will be in jail. Women do not go to jail for abusing their men because they figure that the women are being emotional. A man is supposed to be strong. It's generically
using it against us, basically.
Well, the problem is that if a woman is upset, she could slap you in the face. If a man is upset and he slaps her in the face, he's going to jail. A woman can curse out a man and talk about his mama and really belittle him in front of somebody, and they're going to say, oh, you made her mad. But if a man talked to a woman the way a woman talks to a man, they would tell that woman, go to a shelter and get away from him. He's abusive. You know, women put GPS trackers on phones and you better show me where you at, and I pop up on you and all this stuff, and she's securing her investment in her man. But if a man puts a GPS tracker on his woman so he know where she at, he's overly controlling. So the dynamics are not neutral, and everything that doesn't make sense, I talk about it on the show. So when I see the younger generation going through this, I wonder why y'all putting up with that from these females.
Yep.
Because y'all paying for this. This isn't like the Ken and Barbie scenario, which I don't understand why Ken and Barbie did not leave an impression on folks, because Barbie was a highly successful woman that had
talking about the movie?
No, the little dolls.
Okay, because I know there's a movie on it, and I've been
there's a movie on it. It's stupid too. But the dynamic of the doll is that she is a successful woman. She has her own house, she has her own car, Miss Independent. She's dating a man that only shows up with just his drawers on because he's a surfer guy, right? So he has no occupation of value out until they start getting kin from the military. But besides the point, she has everything, he has nothing, and she wants him because he's cute. That's it. Right now, from there, women want a man that makes over $100,000 a year and he's cute. I don't know how they got that, how they got
Right.
that dynamic. But
Unbelievable standards sometimes.
it is unrealistic expectations. But the modern women want to control the man and
Yep.
the man's estate. So instead of the dynamic from Barbie where she owns it all and he's following her lead because he moved into her estate, she's moving into his estate and then she's dominating his kingdom. And I ask, why are the men doing that?
I think, in my perspective, I think because they're weak as fuck. Honestly, very weak-minded individuals, and they're afraid to. And one thing that I've learned a lot in experience, and plus, even talking with clients, but there is just a lot of men are scared to dominate. They're afraid to show their dominance. They're afraid to put their foot down because now there's this big cultural narrative of you gotta tend to somebody's emotions. You can't make them feel bad. People want to walk over eggshells and everything. Truth is, women love dominance. Honestly, they love it. But the reason why that occurs, because I don't advocate for that myself. We can agree on. I don't believe in no goddamn boot camp. There's a boot camp when she comes to me. There's a boot camp for me. That's my boot camp. Like this, I don't ever listen. I was just chewing up my stars on my end in my community, or just going off about Sims, because the thing is that now the whole what women have figured out, and I give them credit for this because they're smart as shit for this, but they understand that I can play on emotional and mental level, because there's a lot of weak-minded men that will fall into the beauty. So it even goes into how she looks too, the presentation. I see that, I let her dominate me. And and the thing too, I'm gonna announce this, and I said this before, but I think a lot of men need to just open up about the idea that they just want to be the submissive ones. Like there's a lot of genuine submissive as men, because they're like, I want to. I've
And there's no
spoken with
problem
people.
with that.
It's
Some of
not.
these guys might thrive with being submissive.
It's not. See, the thing is that it's not a problem. What becomes a problem is when you try to say that you want to be the man, and then there comes this disruptive harmony, like I talked about, because then you're not being honest and true to what you say you really want. If you genuinely want that, then why is there disruption in your relationship? Why is this thing of earning things? If you want to earn your way into a woman's life, do that if that's gonna make you thrive on your end. But I don't advocate for that, and that happens because weak-minded individuals and women also understand a lot. I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt. 95% of men are easily seduced by just the beauty in the body of a woman. So they know that, and women do that, and they infiltrate where they need to be. And
Well,
it's everywhere.
I'm gonna reinforce your statistic. It's more along the lines of 97% of broke men are
See,
easily
yeah.
influenced by women's beauty because the
You
men
said
that
broke
have enough,
men?
yes.
Shit, even rich men. I got clients, and it's not to put nobody under the bus specifically, but I've known many, been around
Well,
ballers.
the reason why I say that is because the men with enough money to buy a woman, they objectify them. So yes, they will become attracted to the woman, but they got enough money to pay to give you 10 stacks, fly you over, turn you inside out, send you back, and no commitment. There's a difference between wasting your money on a woman the same way that Floyd Mayweather was spending like 50 grand in the King's strip club in Miami in one night versus giving a woman your mansion, all the limos, and letting her spend all of your money. There's a difference between those two scenarios. So when you're referring to the simps, these are men that'll end up in a romantic relationship with a woman, give her control over his entire livelihood, and then submit to her for nothing more than just the sex. Versus what I'm telling you, they're the men that have enough money to pay for this, like Nick Cannon, will, she's attractive, whatever I got to pay to sleep with her, but I'm going to sleep with her, not because I'm not gonna to turn this into a wife kind of thing. That there's a difference in those types of mentality. So though the
pay to sleep though, that's simp behavior too.
It is simp behavior. It is simp behavior. It is extremely simp behavior, and I don't encourage any of it. But my point is that those individuals, like you said, when they come to us, it's gonna be a boot camp scenario, because I've identified the dating phase as the training phase, because you're teaching the woman what you need her to be to become that wife. A lot of women say that they are wife material, but look at your age and how many times have you been married. Look at your age and
Yeah.
ask yourself, how many times have you been married? If you have not yet been married and you're over the age of 25, you are not doing something correct, because wife material is wifed up at 22. So if you're 27 and you're not married yet, what are you doing wrong that is negatively achieving your ability to be married? Because alpha boss ladies, here's the thing.
Shout out to them.
Independent women are different from self-sufficient women. Independence is a lone wolf. A lone wolf will sacrifice the team to achieve, like LeBron James. And a self-sufficient woman is an individual that will hold the fort down until the team come in, until the husband or the boyfriend come in and take over. And the difference in mentality is that an independent woman will only focus on herself and make it a priority for you to focus on her as well. But she don't give a shit about you. The self-sufficient woman will hold the fort down by herself, and then when you come in, she will prioritize you the way you prioritize her. And there's an independent woman is not satisfactory for a relationship, because relationships are supposed to be codependent. That's why self-sufficiency is there, because you can do it when you're alone. But one thing I tell people on the show on a regular basis, the person that is on your level is a person that can do for you what you can do for yourself. A person that can do more for you than what you can do for yourself is not on your level. They're bringing you up to their level. So if you can do it on your own, you don't got to tell me about it. The fact is, I'm doing it for you because I want to. You're allowing me to do that for you so that you can redirect your attention and some of your resources to something else. I've given you guys a lot of information on the show over the last few months, where two individuals that are making 40, 50,000 a year can pool their money together, live at 60% of their income, and take 40% of the rest of the income, put it into the stocks, and make themselves millionaires inside of 10 years.
Right.
The average relationship lasts 1 year, 5 months, 6 days. Why? If you could pick one person and just not fuck it up for 10 years, you would be a millionaire. But we're so wasteful and so selfish that we end up in these relationships working on our own individual selfish desires. And then the honeymoon phase is like 3 to 3 months, 4 months if y'all working a lot. And then after that, you start forcing your pet peeves on the other person, like bad religion. I don't want you to do things that I allowed you to do, because while I love you now, I don't want to deal with that shit no more. And instead of you standing on that in the beginning saying, no, this can't happen, before I become emotionally invested in you, before I become financially invested in you, this can't happen. And then along the way, she can do the same thing. She can say what she wants and doesn't want out of the relationship. And you have to recognize that depending on what comes out of each other's mouths, you decide, am I going to follow that or am I going to walk from this? But you don't, I say this to a lot of people. A job doesn't pay you to work for them or pay you to go to the interview and say, well, I'm going to give you a chunk of change so that you can be my employee, right? They don't incentivize that. Not a lot of people. You got to have a large skill set for that. And likewise, if you're going to apply for a job, you're not going to pay the employer to hire you. So in no dynamic does it make sense when men engage women that men are required to present their assets to the female so that she can engage him? Because why is he buying this job title of being a boyfriend? Likewise, if she's going to be under his income, she's going to be his employee. Women don't agree with me saying it like that, but that's what it is. She's his dependent. She's his dependent because he's financially supporting her, and she is working for him because whatever she does that is a non-monetary investment into the relationship is reciprocated by his monetary actions. That's what an employee receives from its employer. Now, the dynamic is that when you apply for a job, you look at the job requirements, you look at what they're expecting you to do, and then you decide, do I want to do that? If not, if that's too much, I'm going to go find a different job. Likewise, you need to find out from that man from day one, not how much money he's going to spend on the first date, but exactly what does he expect me as a woman to do for him? Because if I'm not down for that, I don't want to date him. Then when you commit to his expectations, now you have demands on the table. Now, most women want the same thing. They want financial security. They want that validation, recognition. They want to be appreciated. Some want gifts. Some just want to not be fucked over. So between the dynamics, a man can determine, okay, I can handle this. And then the two of y'all can find that y'all have that chemistry, that y'all have that camaraderie where y'all are able to meet each other's expectations. And I think that because the next generation is walking into selfish desires and they're putting the stigma out there, the men that are simping, not just because they're simps, because they don't want to be alone. There's a fear of loneliness there.
Man, I
And
was literally just covering the same thing before I got on here. I was literally keep going because you're reinforcing everything, and I just want to say shout out to you for that because I was just breaking that same shit down. After you though, please.
they have
Oh,
a go
excuse
ahead.
me, my apologies. And it's Xander, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Something came up. I do gotta go at 12:30 my time, Eastern time. And I do want to ask,
20
is it
minutes,
appropriate?
10 minutes.
Yes, and I do want to ask, is it appropriate to do a part two?
Oh yeah, by all means. By all means. We can set that up and we can do
Yes.
a part two and work everything out. It depends on well, I'm here every day of the week. It just really depends on when you're available. I can
I,
schedule up another show and then
yes,
I can throw up another topic.
absolutely. I would love to communicate. I'll communicate through email for that. And my
Oh,
apologies again because it was something abrupt. I gotta tend to. I didn't think. I thought it was gonna happen more like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. type of thing. Yes. But
I when duty calls, and I prioritize success. So if you've got somewhere that you got to go in the next 10 minutes, we can wrap this up and we can start heading out in the next 10 minutes. So no worries on that.
yeah,
Well,
I just
what I
wanted
was
to.
saying,
After you.
um, uh, so everybody who wants to see Izzy back on the show again, make sure that y'all stay tuned for that because he is going to be back again on the
Got
show.
to.
We're gonna put up. I'm going to try to get the show scheduled as soon as me and him get the day and the time. And then you
Yes.
guys will be able to see it up there on my channel. And Izzy, on StreamYard, before you log out, you can download today's show. And then you can take that with you and make any kind of shorts that you want to make and put it
Oh
up on your
yes.
show.
I'm gonna post
That,
this whole conversation on my channel, because there's not everybody can be in tune now, but they're going to see it. Because I like these type of conversations. I enjoy the dynamics of debates, of statistics, of it, just conversation itself. And you taught me a lot, whether you know it or not. And I want to say shout out to you for that, in regards to just what it's like to professionally to debate. And because that's something I actually been speaking about lately, just because I'm like I host open debates every Friday. So
Mhm.
I come into like, hey, let's speak. And I was literally just talking about professional debates earlier. So you saying all these things, I can tell I'm on the right path where I am. So I'm grateful for that.
Well, I like to bring facts. And
Right.
because I do my research. So while I didn't cover everything that I was going to talk to you about today, there was about 12
It's
pages of information I was going to cover today, and I only covered 5 of them. So
fucking incredible. Fucking
uh,
incredible.
I do research before every show. So if you would have been at a
Mm,
loss for words, I still would have had 45 minutes worth of stuff that I could have talked about on this show. No
yes.
problem. I do a script every day. So I look at our topic, I look at
Yes.
our conversation piece, and then I'm going to do some research on what we're going to cover. And then after that, if whatever I talk about, whatever I don't talk about, I can always follow up on a different show and add to that and be able to provide that insight. And one of the things that I like is since I'm providing these facts, I'm not the type of individual that's a basher. So I'm not going to just pull out a group of individuals, anybody that could be classified as a you people is a group. And I'm not going to call out any group and make it seem like they're horrible for just making decisions. I point out that some decisions are positive, some decisions are negative. But when I point things out, I come from being uniform. And
Yes.
being uniform requires you to have the same expectations for the role, regardless of who's in that role. When you start flipping positions and take her and put her in his shoes and put him in her shoes, and the expectation should be the same. When it's not, that's when Joseph says, follow Izzy. When it's not, that says
Thank you.
that what's going on right now is not fair. Because if it doesn't work for you
Yes.
when it's happening to you, but it works for you when it's not happening to you, that's not fair. If that's what I have to do to be in that role, and I want to be in that role, I need to be willing to do that. So when we were talking about in these relationship problems with the dynamic of simps, where we have some, not all, some women that want to have the authority, but they don't want to have the responsibility that comes with the authority. I always tell them, you got to pay the cost to be the boss, because if the ship starts to sink, you got to be the captain that goes down with the ship. Otherwise, you don't want that authority. You need to let somebody else do that. I tell women all the time that y'all pick men the way we pick lawyers. The same way Donald Trump is a billionaire, and Donald Trump has 20 men telling him when to enter a room, when to shut up, when to sit down, because they protect him. When he got shot at, they took him off the stage, even though he didn't want to get off the stage, because it was time to go. And likewise, in a relationship, when a man tells you don't go somewhere, don't go. That's not him bullying you. That's him keeping you safe. When he tells you don't wear that, that's not him bullying you. That's him keeping you safe. Where are you? That's not him bullying you. That's him making sure that he's in a close enough proximity where if you need help, he can come. In my family, I was the kind of man where everybody called me. I was like the godfather of my family. So if something went down, I had to stop what I was doing and go and look after family members in some of the most aggressive ways. And the fact is that I have siblings that are alive today because I was there. And had I not been there, they would not be alive today. I have my father right now. I have so many people in my life right now where they have only called me because they needed something. Right. And the dynamic is that when a woman picks a man, she is supposed to be selecting the kind of man that makes the kind of decisions that she would agree to. That's what she's selecting. And that's why you're not looking at how much money he's going to spend on the first date. You're looking at what kind of decisions he's going to make. If he's going to spend $500 on the first date, he's wasteful because he's willing to throw a bunch of money at a stranger. And if he can throw $500 on you and he don't know your last name, all he got is your IG account name, then sweetheart, he could do that to your best friend. He could do that to your mama. He could do that to your cousin because he don't care about money. But if you're trying to be successful, most of us are trying to retire out of the work life where we don't have a 9-to-5 that we got to answer to on a regular basis, where we're making money, make money for us, and we be wherever we need to be. That's called financial freedom. In order to get there, you need financial responsibility in your relationship. So instead of this man taking you to Fiji on your first date, he need to take you to a Starbucks and get you a cup of coffee and show you that he's not going to waste money on you until you show him that you're valuable to him. And then by him showing you he's responsible, you can trust his judgment with the money. But if he's going to take you to Disney World on your first date, and then he's going to take you on a Caribbean cruise on your second date, and then he's going to take you to the Philippines on your third date, he's wasteful. You can't trust him to keep the money. Now you're arguing with him about money. Do you realize that you ended up in a relationship arguing with a man about money because you got a man that was wasteful with his money? You got a man with a G-Wagon instead of getting a man with a Honda Civic, and he spent all his money on a damn G-Wagon. That G-Wagon might only be a rental, but he spent all his money on a G-Wagon. Now y'all can't eat lavish because he's broke. He's car rich because he's living in the projects with an expensive ass car. Y'all got to think about what y'all getting yourselves into. So since Izzy got to run, I will pick this up again later.
That was incredible. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like,
that's cool.
Listen, I'm also gonna have to bring you on my channel as well. I think it's very great for you the way that you're presenting yourself, man. I'm blown away. And again, I've told him even when he was on live. I want to just say thank you for your invitation. Thank you for your presentation as well, because as you speak on what you speak, he's also matching it. I want everybody to understand this. It's more than what he's just saying. Look at the cohesiveness to what he's talking about, the research, the facts, and I just want to say a very incredible show. And also just along with it, just the breakdown of it, because that's really what it comes down to. Because it's never just, of course, men with the leadership, but women also are not they're not dumb. You know what you're getting yourself into. If that's why women men and women together get into a relationship where it's like a love bombing and ghost, and then they never see each other again for like 3 months. And then you guys really get to reality too.
The thing is that there is a mutual attraction, but the mutual attraction is an overly overwhelming feeling of lust. It's not love bombing. There really is a physical attraction there between the two individuals. It's being categorized as love bombing because everybody is becoming the product of some type of toxic relationship in the past, and they don't want to believe that this person is attracted to them in the beginning. But you can make somebody hate you by making bad choices in your relationship, and then because they're tired of your bullshit 3 months into the relationship, you say that everything that happened before that is love bombing. That's not true. They're just tired of you rejecting their advances of affection. because you don't believe from the first day that they really did have that feeling for you. So love bombing is a narcissistic tactic that comes from emotional abuse.
Yeah, see, the only thing that the only reason I brought it up was for the dynamic, not necessarily in those dynamics, but there are
Right.
dynamics where men do that to captivate a woman's emotion just to keep her around for his need and shit like that.
That's
So
true. And
that's why I brought that up.
more women are successful with that than men. That's why men are in the friend zone. But how many women do you know that are in the friend zone?
Oh man, Jesus Christ!
We can't think off.
I can't even speak off. If I speak off my reality, I sound unfair because I friend zone many women, and I would sound unfair though because I don't.
It's not unfair. It's not unfair. Fact is, you are an attractive man. No Diddy. And the fact is that a lot of women are going to approach you based off of your physical appearance.
Correct.
You are going to decide that you don't want most of the women that you're looking at based on what they say and how they behave and how they carry themselves, right?
Yeah,
but
for sure.
The average man that is less attractive would not get that many women. And those individuals that would be more prioritized by women based on his status of resource, those women are only going to want him because of what he can do for her, not because of how he looks. So so you would be in the scale somewhere around an 8 or a 9, something like that to women. You know, I might be somewhere between a 7 or an 8 when it comes to women. And the fact is that out of the two of us, if we were standing in the same spot, the women would approach you before they approach me. Now, most men that are less attractive than I am, are not going to be able to have a bunch of women approaching them. And that's going to mean that when that man is in a friendship with a female, usually she put him in the friend zone because he wanted a relationship with her and she wasn't interested in him.
Yes.
Man, and that's the statistical average.
Xander, why are you doing this? Because like legit, I love these conversations where I can talk about for years. Like, and I hate that I have to go, but I genuinely, like, you bringing this up, I feel like you just, you know what, this is what you're doing. He's teasing for the next show. So when you guys want to get a part of along to the next one, make sure you guys get a part of in along for the part.
Joseph said he fold too. That's really Joseph. You're gonna have to get you some platform shoes with some goldfish in them, brother.
Because oh my Lord. You know, hey, look, no, I ain't trying to.
He's a 4'2" Mexican at 35 years old.
I mean, listen, I've known someone who was like 4'10". He was Hispanic, older gentleman. He like 50 something. That motherfucker was macking. What you don't have in height, provide that in your personality, in your demeanor, the way you speak, and how you carry yourself. Guarantee you, the pussy that you genuinely really want. Real shit.
Well, you gotta be he said 4'5". Oh no, she's 4'5". Your friend is 4'5". But see, that's one of the things that men.
You're short.
Oh no, he's rating himself a 4.2. He's not saying that he's short.
Oh,
he's rating himself 4.2.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, you know, if you got you some facial hair that you didn't want to shave off, your hair all over your head, beer belly, and you.
I'm sorry, it cut off. My apologies.
In your pants, it's really got to do is clean yourself up a little bit. You don't have to. No, you're okay. You don't have to you don't have to hang out. Like, you could clean yourself up a little bit if you're in that scenario where you feel like you are 4.2. You can get a gym membership. There's a lot of things that you can do. So but I know that Izzy said that he had to go, so I don't want to keep him. I don't want to make him late for his engagement. So what we're gonna do, y'all, we're gonna wrap up today's show because the show was about him and the topic. So I'm not gonna carry on the topic without him. So we're gonna wrap up today's show. Ladies, as I always say this every night on the show, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking y'all to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. Fellas, 75% of the podcast, male-driven podcast from the male's perspective. We are going to be here live tomorrow night. We're going to start about 10:35, which is a little bit later than what we started today, but we're here every night of the week. So as soon as I let y'all know what's going on with Izzy, I'm going to put him up on the show. I want to thank you guys for coming to the show. Any comments that go up on the show as we wrap things up today will go into the comment section as long as they're appropriate during the outro. We got a 4-minute outro, a different variation of the Higher Ground song for the podcast that came from alanito.music. So I enjoy that on y'all way out. I really appreciate you. AllStar Issy, for coming to the show.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I actually tagged your show on this show. So while we're running live, you will see in your studio that you got tagged in your mentions. I think it might pop up.
Yes.
We'll talk about that outside the show, because I know you got some stuff to do.
Yes, sir.
But in the meantime, thank you guys for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.